How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, check this out. HMP / young offenders, Wetherby, 2 West Yorkshire prison officers jailed for an assault. Check this story out, guys. And then I'm going to ask you, I'm going to just do the story, guys. I'm going to let me know what you think. What wing, I know what wing these lot are going to end up on. You know, protection, shit scared. Anyone that's got anything about them in prison would attack these officers on sight, but obviously they're going to be on protection. The both names of the 2 officers, guys, are Mark Burnett and Daniel Scott. I'll put their tags in the description and also on the video. Disgusting, guys. Really angers me, this case. And this isn't an isolated incident, guys. It's happening in prisons up and down the country. So the story reads, 2 prison officers have been jailed after assaulting a 17-year-old inmate who they said had earlier attacked one of their colleagues. Mark Burnett was jailed for 15 months and Daniel Scott for 10 months after being found guilty of assault. Passing sentence at Bradford Crown Court, recorder Ben Nolan QC described the attack as a punishment beating. It happened at Wetherby Young Offenders Institution in December of 2016. The teenager, who was physically restrained by officers, was being escorted through a corridor when Burnett shut the door to the exercise yard and said, "Do you think it's funny to assault a prison officer, dear?" Downright brutality. Burnett, 50, who had been a prison officer for nearly 20 years, then punched the teenager in the face, and his colleague Scott, 28, also hit the inmate, the court heard. Recorder Nolan said another officer rebuked Burnett and tried to protect the teenager, while other colleagues were left shocked by the downright brutality of what they'd just seen. The judge added that the door had been shut so the subsequent assault would not be caught on CCTV cameras. The teenager needed hospital treatment after suffering a suspected fracture of the nose and severe bruising, scars on the face. In a victim impact statement, he said he had difficulty breathing through his left nostril. That's through having a deviated septum. I've got one of those. And he'd been left with scars on his face. Barrister Patricia Doherty for Burnett said he had been dedicated to his job, which had caused him to suffer a burnout. If he had been acquitted of the charge, he would not have gone back into the prison service. There's been a degree of provocation in this case where a fellow officer was deliberately attacked, she said. Barrister Robert Fries for Scott described his actions as an isolated and spontaneous loss of temper. He appears to have been a young prisoner who enjoyed, a young prison officer who enjoyed his job and was particularly useful and helpful to the young men and boys he was caring for. Well, obviously not. I like how his Burnett's barrister said there was a degree of provocation in the case where a fellow officer was deliberately attacked. Oh, so that means that your officers then can put everyone behind their doors, twist him up and give him a kicking. This is happening in prisons, guys, up and down the country. The fact is, right, if someone attacks your officers, right, they've got to go through the adjudication process. You can't twist them up, close a door and then give him a shoeing, right? He was tied, apparently it was in a thing and it was punched proper. Like, we've got to remember, this kid was restrained, 17 years old, guys. Prison officer, 20 years. They're all experienced. They've all got control and restraint training. It was, and like I said, one officer actually intervened. The others were shocked, apparently. Now, they're obviously not bullies, but these 2 were. A 50-year-old man with 20 years experience, Burnett, Mark Burnett, and 28-year-old Daniel Scott. They're now both in prison. Do you know what I mean? They probably end up, so from Bradford, I don't know where the local is, probably Armley Jail or Wakefield, but more probably likely Armley Prison or HMP Leeds. They'll both be in prison, guys, now. They'll be on protection because if they got onto the wings and prisoners found out they was there for beating a 17-year-old YP or young prisoner or young offender, YO, they'd be targeted, wouldn't they? And they'd get it bad. Nothing more to say on that, guys. Cowardly attack by 2 prison officers that were just, like I said, power mad. This isn't happening in young offenders institutes, guys. This is happening in prisons, female prisons, male prisons, young offenders, secure training centres or STCs. It's happening in prison, the prison establishment up and down the country. But like I say, these prison officers have got body-worn cameras. If you're going at them, body camera on. When they're coming after you, body camera stays off. It's disgusting. No, this doesn't represent all prison officers. There's a lot of good prison officers out there. When I went, I've got nothing positive to speak about Her Majesty's Prison Service staff, HMP officers. But when I went to Sodexo, Justice Services Prison, Forest Bank, the officers couldn't be nicer. You had the very small element that were just dickheads. But for the most part, 90%, 95% of the officers at Forest Bank were top drawer. Some take the job too seriously. Others, it's just a job. You go to work. You're there. They understand you're being punished because you're already in prison, and they're not there to make your life any harder. If you're entitled to it, you'll get it in. If you're not, you won't. Then you've got ones that you could become friendly with, similar age, from the estates that you're from. But these two cowards, guys, just a cowardly attack by two prison officers off camera, but their colleagues have obviously dobbed them in. Normally, I don't like grasses, but in this regard, I think that they did the right thing. I hope the young offender, I hope he went for compensation on the back of that, because if it was the other way around, the prison officer would have taken time off, do you know what I mean, and gone down the compensation route as well. On that note, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Link in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.